Imagine landing at Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport next year, Canadian passport in hand, only to be turned away at border control. No visa, no entry, no explanation needed. Sound far-fetched? It's not anymore. The EU just gave itself sweeping new powers that could suspend visa-free travel for Canadians at any moment, and most people have no idea it's happening. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're Canadian and planning any trips to Europe, you need to hear this. The European Union just expanded its authority to suspend visa-free entry for citizens of 61 countries, including Canada. And the reasons they can do this? They've gotten a lot broader and a lot scarier. Let's break down exactly what changed, what it means for your travel plans, and why this should matter to every Canadian watching. So here's the deal. Right now, Canadians can travel to the Schengen area, that's 27 European countries, for up to 90 days without a visa. Business trip, tourism, no problem. Just show up with your passport. But the EU just rewrote the rules on when they can take that privilege away. They've expanded their list of reasons for suspending visa-free travel, and here's where it gets interesting. First, they can now suspend access if there's a significant increase in irregular migration. Think overstays or asylum claims. And get this, they lowered the trigger from a 50% increase to just 30%. That means they can act way faster. Second, they're targeting golden passport schemes. If Canada, or any country, offers citizenship by investment programs that the EU thinks pose security risks, boom, suspension. Third, security threats and crime. If there's a spike in crime rates linked to visa-free travelers, they can pull the plug. Again, the threshold is now just 30%. Fourth, and this one's wild, hybrid threats. If the EU thinks a country is using migration as geopolitical leverage against them, they can suspend access. We're talking about migration being weaponized as a political tool. Fifth, human rights violations. If a country is found to be seriously breaching international human rights or humanitarian law, the visa waiver can be revoked. Sixth, visa policy alignment. If Canada allows entry to people from countries the EU considers high risk, essentially creating a backdoor into Europe, they can suspend our access. And finally, if Canada fails to comply with international court decisions, that's grounds for suspension too. Now you might be thinking, okay, but Canada's not going to mess this up, right? We're good international citizens. Maybe. But here's the thing, this isn't just about what Canada does anymore. The EU has made these rules specifically to respond faster to changing conditions. They've lowered the thresholds, they've broadened the criteria, and some of these triggers are completely outside Canada's control. For example, what if there's a sudden spike in Canadians overstaying in Europe? Maybe people are trying out digital nomad lifestyles and pushing the 90-day limit. A 30% increase over 2 months, and we're under review. Or what about geopolitical tensions? If Canada's foreign policy clashes with EU interests in ways that involve migration or border security, that could be interpreted as a hybrid threat. And here's something most people don't know. Starting in late 2026, Canadians will need to apply for something called ETIAS, an online travel authorization, before visiting Europe. It's like the US ESTA system. There's a fee, pre-screening, and your data gets checked against security databases. So even if everything goes smoothly, the days of just showing up in Europe with your passport are numbered. Now, let's zoom out for a second. Why is the EU doing this? It's a response to what they see as increasing threats, irregular migration, security concerns, abuse of investor passport schemes, and what they call hybrid threats. Basically, countries using migration as a weapon. And the EU wants to be able to adapt quickly. Instead of waiting for a crisis to escalate, they want the power to suspend access early and use it as both a deterrent and a diplomatic tool. Suspensions can last 9 to 12 months, initially with extensions up to 24 months if problems persist. And get this, they can make these suspensions targeted. So instead of banning all Canadians, they could just suspend visa-free travel for government officials or specific groups. They're also rolling out biometric tracking systems, an entry-exit system that monitors arrivals and departures, to crack down on overstays. In other words, the EU is tightening the screws on everyone, and Canada's not exempt. So what does this mean for you practically? 1. If you're planning a trip to Europe, keep an eye on ETIAS. It's not mandatory yet, but it will be by late 2026. Budget for the fee and the application time. 2. Be mindful of the 90-day rule. Don't overstay. With biometric tracking coming online, they'll know exactly when you arrived and when you left. 3. Understand that your access to Europe is now tied to Canada's relationship with the EU on a whole range of issues: migration, security, human rights, foreign policy. That's a lot of moving parts, and any one of them could trigger a suspension. 4. Stay informed. These rules just passed, and they're going to evolve. If you travel frequently to Europe, are dapper. The bike knitting skine, sid zephyr, but my subrussian umbiandad. Finswitter and denan, either denji gilser denan stas sparbri iban denan, and denjid bite iba ding science.
Look, the odds of Canada losing visa-free access anytime soon are probably low. We're a stable, trusted partner with strong institutions and good relations with Europe.
But the point is, it's no longer guaranteed. The EU has given itself the power to suspend access quickly, and for reasons that go way beyond individual travelers' control. Your Canadian passport is still powerful, but it just got a little less reliable when it comes to Europe. If this video helped you understand what's changing, hit that like button and subscribe for more travel and policy breakdowns. Drop a comment below. Are you worried about these new rules? Have you had any issues traveling to Europe? Let's talk about it. Thanks for watching, and safe travels.